Hello friends, welcome to the Angular 8 tutorial. In this tutorial we will see what is preloading in Angular 8 and how we use this preloading in Angular 8. So in the previous tutorial we have seen the eager loading and the lazy loading in the Angular 8. So in this tutorial we will see the preloading. So basically a preloading is a loading module in which load in the background asynchronously just after application start. Like what happened when we launch our application, so it goes to the means it load all the module in background synchronously once we start the application. So in this loading, first app module load, like when we launch our application, first of all this app module load, and then it load module like a eager loading. Like in this eager loading, what happened, like when we launch a application it load all the module, but in this preloading, first it load the app module, then it run the application, and then it load the other module. And after that, as I have said, like, and after loading the app module, it load the module configured with preloading, and then it happen all this happen in the background asynchronously. So preloading is very useful when we want to see the feature which are in high probability to be visited by user just after loading the application. Like what happened in the preloading, like we can load the module which we want to show in the our in the customized way. What is the meaning of like this? Like we can create a preloading as a custom preloading, and when we when I load through one module and uh, I have probability like a user will go to the next page, then we can customize that module and we can define that module under this preloading. So it is a demand loading module, and we can create a custom preloading. For that we have to create a service by implementing Angular preloading strategy. That custom preloading we will see in the coming videos. So but in this tutorial we will see the how we use this preloading. So basically for enabling the preloading, first what we have to do, we have to make a lazy loading. That is the first step. Like lazy loadings should be there. And what is the meaning of lazy loading? Like we have to use the load children, and it in this load children we give the path or our the of our modules. So in the previous tutorial we have seen how we create the lazy loading. If you didn't watch, I recommended you please go to the lazy loading tutorial and see how we make a module as a lazy loading. And then what we do after making this lazy loading, what we do, then we uh, can enable preloading by using the preloading strategy equal means the type of this is the preload all module, and it comes from the this is a module, and if we load this module from the router library, and while registering the routes using this for route method, then what happened in the app.routing method, we have to configure this thing. uh, so we will see all these things in a bit, that how we enable this preloading for the Angular 8, and we will create the same output which we created in the last tutorial. So let's go to the Visual Studio Code, and here we have this configuration for the eager loading, and then we created same example for the lazy loading. Like I have told, like before working with the preloading, we have to make this application as a lazy loading, and for making this application as a lazy loading we have to use this load children, we have to give the path of the module. So for making it as a lazy loading, for making it as a preloading, what we have to do, first we have to import like preloading all module. So it comes from the @angular router, it comes from here. And what is that? Like preloading all modules. First we have to import this, and this we have to give under this for route. And how we define it here, inside this, first give the comma, and then what we have to take, we have to take preloading strategy, preloading strategy, and we have to define like preloading, or just paste it like preload all modules. So that is the first thing we have to do, and we have to take this thing in the curly braces. We have to define this under the curly braces. So that is the thing we have to do first. So let's save it and see on the browser. So what happened, means what we did here, first we loaded this load all module, then we have defined this thing under this for root of preloading strategy. So I have saved it, and we'll see on the browser what happened. Like it's loading again. Like we can see here, like first it loaded the app module, then it run the application, then it loaded all those module which we have defined it here, and we'll click on this, it will work as respective. So that is the way we can create the preloading in Angular 8. And if they basically here only two module we have given, if they are multiple, what will happen, it will load all the module. And we can even create this preloading module as a customized way. Like we want, like what will means if we are suspecting like the user will going to what means will go to the respective module, then we can customize this preloading module, like and we can load it as a back in the background. So basically that is the we use the preloading into the Angular 8, and this is the way we enable the preloading in Angular 8. So regarding this, if you have any doubt or question, please comment. Thank you.